Hi, it's Rick Gorman again, and welcome to our latest podcast, the Youth Centered Podcast. This is the third one of 2019, and I'm extremely excited to have Sydney Pensavalli, a senior at North Andover High School, as my guest today, and we're going to talk about a great honor that Sydney has just received in the last week. Sydney has just been named our Youth of the Year at the Youth Center. This is something we've been doing for the last 4 years, where we have identified one person that's involved with the youth center. Could be many of the things they do here: volunteer work, their participation in the youth center. And this year, the staff got together over the month of December, and then we decided on who we wanted. It was kind of an easy choice this year. Usually, we have a number of debates and we talk about different kids, and there was definitely some wonderful kids that were nominated, and kids that we thought could be worthy candidates, but one stood out more than anybody, and that is Sydney Pensavalli. So first of all, Sydney, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
And congratulations on being our Youth of the Year. Sydney is the fourth Youth of the Year. Our first one was Stephen 4 years ago, Stephen Crowley, and then that was followed up with Alexis Case, and then last year was Maggie Matola. So Sydney is falling in with a great group of past Youth of the Year. So Sid, I think a lot of people know who Sydney Pensavalli is, but as our listenership is growing, a lot of people may not know you. So if you don't mind, who is Sydney Pensavalli?
Well, I'm currently a senior at North Andover High School. I've grown up in North Andover all of my life. I started coming to the youth center when I was in third grade for summer fun. It was probably the best program I've ever attended, and ever since then I've really just had a strong passion for the youth center. Throughout my whole middle school career, I did Step Up, was one of the kids that was here every single day, playing basketball, hanging in the lounge. But then as I grew up, I realized I wanted to do more here. So I started participating in Core 4, got a job here, which I love, and it's just been the best experience for me. But outside of the youth center, I currently run track, and it's just, that's basically it.
So you always underestimate yourself, Sid. Between North Andover High School's involvement in the youth center, you do a tremendous amount of work. What is it? What's it like being named the Youth of the Year? What was that like when we informed you? We'll talk in a little bit about how we informed you, but what does it mean to you being named the NAYRS Youth of the Year?
Well, for me, I just think the youth center has done so much for me. So this award just really means that I somehow did a lot for the youth center. So a lot of the times I just think that the youth center has done a lot for me, but getting this award really allowed me to realize that I've done a lot for the youth center too. So it really it boosted my confidence. It's such an honor.
You most certainly have. We brought you in along with your mother, and we tried to get your father, but he was working that day. So we brought you in during our school vacation week. Didn't tell you why we were bringing you in, and didn't tell your mother why we were bringing her in, and brought you upstairs, and myself, Demi, and Justin, and Kyle. Brenna was unfortunately sick that day. We kind of notified you, and it was kind of a fun moment. What was it like as you were finding out that you were the Youth of the Year?
Well, I originally thought I was just coming to pick up my Brooks skating money, so it was kind of a shock. But Rick told me that I was part of an intervention, so kind of caught me off guard, and I was a little nervous. But after he broke the news that I was Youth of the Year, I was so excited. I know my mom started crying, and I almost did too. So It was really an exciting moment.
Yeah, she did do a little bit of crying there. Obviously, we joked a lot a little bit with bringing you in. Obviously, we had to get you in there, and we like to joke around a little bit. But it was an awesome moment where the four of us, obviously, I got the opportunity to tell you what I thought of you, and then each one of our staff member did. And I know you got a little emotional with that, but some things that struck out to me was a couple of comments that Justin and Kyle made about and it's just a simple comment, but really kind of tells why you were selected, is that youth center matters to you more than most people. And we've obviously seen you grow into a fine young woman. I'll never forget when you didn't get a job one summer, and you were very proactive to call me 500 times and let me know if anybody didn't take the job or if someone didn't work it out. And we obviously saw early on how much you care about the youth center, and clearly, the stuff you've done from a volunteer basis, as well as, your part-time work. You just mentioned you thought you were coming in for the Sunday night brook skating. For people that don't know, is Sid is actually our point person on Sunday nights. She's in charge of the skate guards, and she's in charge of collecting the money from our residents on our Sunday night brook skating, which goes from November until the end of February, and you've done a great job with that. So I think we did give you the box for Brooks right after that.
Yeah, you did.
So why do you volunteer?
Well, I really think volunteering, it obviously goes a long way for the people that you're volunteering for, but I also think it just develops such a strong character with you I've just become such a more confident person volunteering, and you really get to step out of your comfort zone, which I think is so important growing up. And it really feels good to see, I know at the Christmas drive when I dropped off presents, just to see like getting hugs from people that you were delivering presents to was just so amazing, and it's just such a heartwarming feeling. And there's really, words can't even describe how heartwarming volunteering is, but it's such a strong part of me, and I couldn't live without it.
Sure. You mentioned you were part of our crew that delivered the presents right before Christmas, my favorite day of the year, at the youth center. Tell us a little bit about other volunteer projects you've done here. I know you mentioned Core 4. Why don't you break it down when you actually started doing community service projects and volunteering as a middle school all the way up until your senior year?
So in, I think, 6th grade, I joined Step Up, which is an amazing program here. It's volunteer work in middle school, so it really emphasizes building that character from a young age. And we did a bunch of different volunteer projects. I did it all throughout middle school. We raised a ton of books for kids in Africa, and we went to the senior center a bunch of times, and we went to soup kitchens. And then in high school, Core 4 and I have gone to Project Home Again. We also gone to the soup kitchens. We've gone to
probably a few other places.
Definitely a few other places that are not coming to my head right now.
What was Core 4 all about? For a lot of our listeners who probably don't even know what Core 4 is, what's all that about? And take us through that leadership weekend that you go to every year.
So I was selected for Core 4 when I was spring of 8th grade. So it was right before my freshman year of high school. And it's basically a leadership building program for kids in high school. So we first went up to Lake Winnipesaukee on an island, and we lived in cabins with kids that we did not know from Methuen, Lawrence, and Andover. And so my North Andover group and we did a bunch of leadership building activities. We kind of learned how to become a leader. We got out of our comfort zones. And so ever since that first year, we've gone back to the same island, and we do different leadership activities. But now, as an older leader, we get to teach the leadership activities to the younger kids more. Like, we lead a lot of the games, and it's just really inspiring to see the different demographics from throughout the 4 organizations, and just the difference in kids when they live so close to each other. So it's really a cool experience, and it's very eye-opening.
So if I'm correct, I think you've been to the island 4 years with us.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, last year was your last, as you're a senior heading off to college. When you first came, it was also the first time we found out you were gluten-free. Obviously, I didn't know a ton about gluten-free back in the day, but obviously I was very impressed with how you handled that. And, obviously we had a lot of work we did in terms of you weren't the only gluten-free person there. But how you handled that, how mature you were, You had also been to the island as a YMCA kid one day, so it was pretty familiar with you. But it was early on that I saw that you had tremendous leadership abilities right as an eighth grader. And Core 4, you'll finish that out this year when you graduate at the high school. And then that second group that we brought on a couple of years ago, they will take over and hopefully follow in the footsteps that you did. So you've never shied away from doing volunteer projects. You really like it. I like how you passionately talk about what you get out of it. I do need to let you know, as well as our listeners, how much we get out of having you involved. The passion you show for helping people is unbelievably impressive. You are someone that we can always call. If you can jump in and help something, you're willing to do, and that's pretty amazing to have those type of attributes. So you know how North Andover is. Once we posted that you were our Youth of the Year, we had a tremendous amount of feedback from educators at both the middle school and the high school, as well as people in the youth center. People were really happy for you in getting that. What was some other reaction you got from maybe extended family and friends?
Mm-hmm. Well, I know my mom immediately posted on Facebook, so all of my cousins, all my family friends immediately texted me saying congratulations. But then a few days after, a bunch of different teachers said congratulations, how they were so proud of me. And even my dad said a couple times at the supermarket, people stopped him and said congratulations, and he didn't even know who they were. So that's pretty fun. It's pretty funny, and I've just gotten so much support from it, so I'm so thankful for that.
So we have a great follower on social media who I didn't know who it was for probably the first couple of years, but I found out it was Sydney Pensavalli's grandmother.
Yeah.
And fortunately, the day that we actually told your mother and you about it, I didn't know Grandma was in the car in the parking lot. So your mother brought her in. It was the first time I got to meet her. Sweet lady. Obviously very proud of both you and your brother. What was her first reaction? I think she was about to cry herself.
Yeah, she was so excited too. I think she's been in the youth center a few times to watch my brother's basketball games, but I think it was so meaningful to her to see all the staff that I've been working with for so long, and so I think she was just shocked, and she was so excited too.
You are a big hit with our middle school kids, particularly our middle school kids, but also our younger high school kids too. Take a couple of seconds. I know you got a couple of favorites. Who are those kids and why?
My favorite kid is his name is Daniel. Daniel comes with me on Saturday nights, and Daniel is like my buddy. We just play all the time, whatever he wants to play. We play Call of Duty together, we dance together, and we play basketball in the gym. I met him when he was in 6th grade, and he's just grown so much, and I've been friends with him for so long, and it's just really, it's really amazing to see how far he's come. So
yeah, it's pretty impressive to see you with Daniel. He's a great kid, and obviously he loves you a lot. Let me ask you something. As you're a senior, a lot of kids in that 8th grade heading off to high school, maybe 9th or 10th grade, that haven't actually been involved with maybe some of our volunteer programs or some of our, activities on community service. What do you say to those kids about maybe starting to get involved?
Well, I definitely think it's so important to start and just maybe try one or two random community service activities and just see if you like it. Because for me, I really do love it, and I found a passion for it really quickly. So you really don't know if you have that passion for it, and so it makes it so easy to get involved after that. So you will definitely like it, and I would just say just keep with it because it goes a long way for other people and definitely for yourself.
For sure. So as you've become of working age, you've had a few part-time jobs for us. Tell our listeners a little bit about some of the part-time employment you've done here at the Youth Center.
So I first got a job my sophomore year just on Saturdays. So I was working with 4th and 5th graders upstairs. I worked in the game room. We worked in the lounge. I danced with them. It was really fun. But then after that, I joined Summer Fun after begging Rick for a few times. And I was a buddy for kids at Summer Fun, which is really awesome, really heartwarming experience. But I really don't think, if I'm listing all the jobs I've done, I really don't think, when people ask me if I work, I kind of say no, because it really isn't a job. I love to do it. It's my favorite thing to do. I look forward to going to work every single day. But after Summer Fun, I got a job full-time here after school, in between my track seasons, and then after track I still worked the front desk at night, and then did Summer Fun again, going into my senior year. Absolutely love it. Summer Fun just keeps getting better and better, and it's really not a job. I'm so grateful for it.
And obviously you're helping us out this winter with Sunday night brook skating on top of everything else. So, and we're looking forward to having you back again this summer. You did mention a few times that it's not like you really have a job, and one of my favorite sayings, that if you find a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I think you actually epitomize this here at the youth center. Demi, who's in charge of filling slots when kids call in sick or whatever, I know that you're the first person that Demi calls, and you're usually the person that responds if you don't have track practice or something else. So very appreciative of all that. So you are a senior. You're going to have a great winter and spring at North Andover High School. And then you graduate in June, and you'll be heading off to college, I think, in September. What are some of the future plans for Sydney, Pensavalli?
Well, I currently want to go into business of some sort. I don't know what, maybe HR or medical management. But my number one school is currently Bentley, but I don't hear from them until late March, so fingers crossed for that. But the schools I've currently gotten into, which I am debating on, are UVM, UMass, Providence, and Fairfield. So I'm excited for those.
We talk a lot, and we actually talked about it with our podcast last week with Lucy and Nicole on going off to college. How stressful, anxious has this process been for you?
I applied to, I think, 16 schools, so in the fall, doing all of my supplemental essays was very difficult. I know it was really hard balancing school and doing college stuff, so it was pretty stressful. But after I submitted everything, the stress has gone down a little, but now the stress is kind of getting back up because I'm still waiting to hear from some of my top schools, so it's it's very nerve-wracking, but in the end, I'm sure it'll all work out well.
I'm sure it will. You have some great opportunities there, and you and your family will decide the best landing spot for you. As we continue to talk to Sydney about this, I do want to let our listeners know that Sydney will be honored on Saturday, March 30th at DeBarros at our annual Night to Shine event, where we raise a lot of money for the youth center. We have a great time with the parents. We'll have close to 300 people there. And one of the nice parts of the evening, besides the silent auction and the dinner and the live auction and then the music and dancing, we actually get to recognize our Youth of the Year, which will this year obviously be Sydney, as well as name our scholarship winners from the Joseph N. Herman Youth Center Incorporated. And there's usually a good 4 to 6 kids that'll be there with their parents. You'll be coming with your parents, obviously, and maybe even your grandmother and a few other people. But it'll be a great opportunity for us to honor you, as well as the scholarship recipients. You have a task that day that you'll have to address the 300 adults there. I know you're working hard on your speech on this. How are you a little nervous about that? Do you worry about getting in front of 300 North Andover parents?
I'm not the best public speaker, but I think after practicing a ton, I will get it down pretty good, and my nerves will probably ease as soon as I get up there. So
I'm sure it will. You're a good public speaker, and you're very passionate. So I'm excited to hear what you'll have to say that night, and obviously I'm excited to be the one that'll present you with that, and it's going to be a great night for us. So we will be having Demi and Holly Williams on our future podcast to talk about the auction, but we want you all to save that date. It's a big night for us. It's a big night for the Youth Center. It's a big night for us to raise money for the Youth Center, and it's really a fun night to recognize these amazing young people that have come through the Youth Center over the years. So, Sid, as you start to wind down your career here, it will be very different next fall with you not here. We're used to seeing your face at the front desk. Um, what will you take from the youth center as you head off to the next chapter of your life?
Well, I think Rick instills a strong passion with everyone. So I don't really, everything I do is for a purpose. And I just want to continue doing things that I do love to do. So whether that's working or continue to volunteer in college, I definitely want to do that and even have like another leadership role. So it'll be really exciting to continue my volunteer work and passion inside college.
And you will do that. I mean, I can tell that the institution that you end up landing at will be getting a wonderful person that will be passionate about their school, and I know community service will be a big part of that. What will it be like leaving North Andover?
It's definitely going to be hard leaving all my friends since I have lived here my whole entire life and I'm kind of constricted to the 400 people in my grade. But after saying my goodbyes, I think it will be really exciting to meet new people in college, and it'll be really fun.
Yeah, it definitely will be. Any final words? What would you want to say to maybe our parents that are listening that, might want to get their kids involved with maybe some of the community service and the volunteer programs here? What do you say to those parents out there that, thinking about this, not sure their kid would want to do it? What's your advice?
Definitely push it because you will see a difference in your kids after they volunteer, a positive difference, obviously. So just give it a few tries and they will definitely love it, and they will definitely continue it after. So
absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for coming on our podcast. It was great to obviously hear. I mean, I know you very well, but hopefully our listeners will get to hear and to know about the amazing Sydney Pensavalli, who we love dearly here. And you have really left your mark here, Sid, and I know you will continue to do that until you leave from North Andover, and I know you'll continue that out in college too. So we wish you the best of luck, and we congratulate you. This is an amazing honor. As we said, only one person a year. We've done it for 4 years. You joined the illustrious group of individuals on being our Youth of the Year, and we congratulate you one final time.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And concludes this podcast. We will be back on again next week. We have a number of people that have been letting us know different topics that they would like. So we got a number of different things, very varying topics that we're going to get to every week here. So I hope you'll check back in with it. You can check on all of our podcasts by going directly to our website, nayouth.com. And we are up on iTunes and Podbean and Google Play and pretty much all places that you can get your podcasts. So hope you'll check out some of the past ones we've had, and I hope you will stay tuned to a number of new ones we'll have in the year 2019. And as we say every time we end a podcast, too much passion is not enough passion.